What's up, everybody? This is Ashley Reed, and welcome to this week's Top 7, where we're talking about our top 7 fan theories we wish were true. See, the great thing about video games is that even after they're all done and on the shelves and you can buy them and play them and have lots of fun, the work is still only half done. The rest of it comes in when fans start coming up with new ideas about how the universe works. And sometimes they can be really silly and dumb, but other times they're so well thought out that they actually add more to the universe by existing. We have our top 7 favorites that we think fall into that category and really give something else to the game. Warning ahead of time, all of these contain spoilers, so watch yourself, and then let's get to it.
So hats off to all those Kingdom Hearts fans that are keeping track of all this stuff, because this is absolutely ridiculous.
Basically, Xion is one of the more important characters from Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, but she really isn't that important in the universe itself. She's there, she dies, Roxas is sad, and then she's gone, and we never hear anything about her again. But this theory says that Xion's important because she's the reason that Sora and Roxas can dual-wield Keyblades, because she's left-handed and gives Roxas that ability right after she dies.
When it comes to fan theories with Kingdom Hearts games, you can believe anything because it's all just so confusing.
And there is the idea that he got it from Ventus, this other character, but none of them can use it until Xion merges with Roxas, and then they together merge with Sora. So she really is the catalyst for that power, and this theory makes it so that she's more important to the universe as a whole.
It just goes to show how much thought people are willing to put into to make something like Organization 13 make any sense whatsoever. So is it Tweely or Twilight? I mean, forgive me for not knowing, but either way, this is a pretty cool theory. Everyone wants to know where Majora's Mask comes from, just because it looks so freaky.
All the games are connected somehow, right? So that means that in Twilight Princess, the guys that made all those evil masks could have made the Majora's Mask from Majora's Mask?
The Twily are this race of shadow people that are introduced in Twilight Princess, and they created Shadow Edge, which is this really powerful mask that Midna carries around. And if you look at it, a lot like Majora's Mask, that same kind of creepy aesthetic to it. And we do find out that Majora's Mask was created by these ancient ones that lived a long time ago, who were banished to a shadow realm when they tried to take over Hyrule, which is exactly what happened with the Twilies. So the resemblance is so uncanny that you almost have to think they're really the same thing, and that draws these two different parts of the universe together, expanding the Zelda universe even further.
The world of Legend of Zelda is so muddled with alternate timelines and all this other stuff and repeating themes that I find this one very believable.
It is kind of cool that, you could just kind of extrapolate all this information to say that this battle's been going on for decades because of this replicator that just keeps on making soldiers to fight each other.
Now, the theory would make a lot of sense given how often you die and come back to life with very little explanation in, well, any shooter really. What it doesn't explain is why they'd have clones of each other on each side and not think that's weird.
So one of the things that's really prominent in Team Fortress when you look at the extended universe stuff is that there's a lot of anachronistic stuff. It all looks to be taking place in the 50s, that's kind of the look of it, but then there's things like an Apple store or somebody has an iPod or something, and it gets kind of ridiculous and it's supposed to be kind of silly. But this theory suggests that it's actually not anachronistic and out of the realm of possibility. The mercenaries just keep getting respawned over and over and over again, and it just happens so much and so often that they just kind of continue to live through the decades until they could feasibly buy an iPod.
It's a little weird because that game has such a bizarre sense of humor, and so when you link that to the fact that these guys have just been killing themselves over and over again and coming back to life to do it all over once more, it's oddly depressing.
All the Nintendo characters being in the same world makes sense just based on all the little winks and references to other games in them. such as, Mario being a referee or a line judge in early NES games.
I thought that Smash Brothers was an alternate universe where everyone's just a toy in a toy box. And that explains how they're all getting together. But the first time I ever did think that Nintendo Worlds crossed over is when I was playing Link's Awakening for Game Boy, and they had Gordo, the little spiky ball dude from the Kirby series. He was just chilling on the beach.
Like, are they segregated? Are the Pokemon not allowed over in the Mushroom Kingdom? I don't really know, but it is a really interesting explanation for why you keep seeing all these crossover appearances, even if they're just the smallest, slightest ones, because how the hell else could they even happen?
We've got Fox McCloud and Samus all cruising space, and then we've got the Mushroom Kingdom, which Olimar and his people are in the Mushroom Kingdom doing their thing, and then eventually they all get together and fight each other because they all think the other one is a threat to the safety of the universe. I think anything that makes Smash Brothers canon, I think I can get behind that.
I was under the impression that CHELL was just an android. I mean, how else is she gonna come back to life over and over again as she fails these scientific experiments? But this is pretty much shattering my entire perception of the Portal series.
CHELL's background is just so mysterious, like how is she even at Aperture? And then on top of that, why is Cave so invested in all this stuff? Why is GLaDOS and her, original person so interested in all these things?
It's kind of like a Star Wars situation. It's like, oh, I'm Luke Skywalker and my dad is the evil guy.
You find an old science project that's by CHELL somewhere in the facility, so you know that she's been there before, and it was during Take Your Daughter to Work Day, so you know that her parents worked there. We know that Cave and Caroline had something going on if you've ever listened to how GLaDOS reacted to Cave Johnson's lemon rant, kind of more than ecstatically. And then we find out that the Turret Opera, which plays during the last part of Portal, is actually a song that says, "Goodbye, my child, I love you, have a good life," from GLaDOS to CHELL. So even though there's a little bit of timeline issues with this one, it's actually pretty compelling, especially for a universe as weird as Portal's.
I have to say, out of all the bizarre fan theories out there, this one definitely takes the cake. And I love it. I want to believe it so bad, because how cool of a freaking twist would that be that all along Shepard has just been edging closer and closer to indoctrination by the Reapers. It makes sense, right? Like, he's had all this exposure to them, and we know that exposure itself is kind of what leads to this.
So the Mass Effect ending explained, I think it was partially made to reject the real ending of Mass Effect 3, which upset a lot of people. But I've seen some really strong evidence to support this one. And honestly, I like this one because it seems better written than what the real ending of Mass Effect 3 was.
It's all in his head. Like, everything's in his head. Nothing's real. He's not really fighting the Reapers anymore. It's just kind of this thing that he's just battling his own psyche, I guess, and nothing's really happening, and that's what you're experiencing in the game.
It keeps being said that, oh, the more you get involved with Reaper technology, the more likely you are to become indoctrinated, and Shepard's been just around more Reaper technology than you can even count. Then when you add in how dreamlike and weird and messed up that last little bit of Mass Effect 3 is, it fits perfectly that Shepard is indoctrinated in that last bit, and everything that's going on is a fight within his or her own mind.
I don't think anyone can really argue with the fact that the Limbo Kid is reliving this horrific journey. That really sucks for him. I wish him the best, but he's gonna experience the worst.
Pretty sure he got in like a car accident, flew out the front window, landed in a forest, and he wakes up dead. You know? And then you go through all this stuff, you escape all these giant, scary spiders, and then you finish the last sequence, and then you crash through another window and land in the forest.
Yeah, it seems almost too self-serving to suggest that perhaps Limbo does in fact take place in a limbo, right? But it does make sense when you play through the game and you see that the beginning, through the playthrough, and then you hit the ending, which loops right back into the beginning again. And you know that journey is just filled with all sorts of tormenting things like, you know, getting brain slugs that control your movement and all these weird traps that murder you over and over again.
This one is so well thought out that many people actually think it might be canon. The idea goes that the little boy in Limbo has gone through this same journey over and over and over again and will continue to do so for eternity. There is the idea that maybe he dies at the end and that's why you can see the flies in the background, but really I don't think those are totally in conflict, because if it's an endless cycle of life and death, why can't he die and then come back in the beginning and it starts all over again? All right, and that was our top 7 fan theories that we wish were true. Which ones do you think we got right? Which ones do you totally believe now? How wrong were we, and how bad do you want to tell us that we were wrong? Well, make sure to let us know in the comments, and keep checking back with GamesRadar for more of our top 7 lists and lots of other good stuff. And until next time, see you later.